Hey, Roadrunners, it's Lit Medallion. I got your guy Rowdy here. He's got his medallion here. I still need to get a battery to light it back up. But here's the video that I semi-promised last night. I was hoping to get to it earlier. Unfortunately, by the time the first video that I produced uploaded to YouTube, it takes like 2 hours, right? So by the time it does all its checking and everything. So anyway, here it is. And hopefully you guys get to see it before the game starts tonight. And what I want to talk about are two things. I want to talk about Frank Harris. I want to talk, well, three things. Sorry. Frank Harris, the wide receivers. Second thing, and then the third topic are our kickers. So real quick on Frank Harris. So would you believe that Frank Harris has a 157 rating? That's pretty darned impressive. That's pretty high considering who we've played, right? During the Texas game, he played fine there. The Army game, he played great there. Texas Southern obviously played really good there, and U of H game played great there. Had the one turnover that really wasn't his fault. He got hit as it was thrown over. So I think Frank's playing pretty darn good football. I alluded to it. So Frank is sitting at 1,310 yards passing, right? And he has 176 yards on the ground running. So he's de facto our second best running back, right? He's going to always be. It's going to be hard for RB2 on our depth chart to outrush Frank unless we're just creaming teams with the run, right? Because he's so elusive. He's guaranteed he's got the green light to just run anytime he wants because he's so good at running. We just don't want him to run because we don't want him to take unnecessary hits, right? So that's pretty good. But now let's talk about our wide receivers. So I mistakenly said that all three were averaging 100 yards a game. So Zachary Franklin needs 7 more yards over 100. So if he gets 107 in this game, then he'll be averaging 100 yards per game for 5 games. So, but Cephas and Clark are well over 400 yards receiving, and Clark is at 393. Pretty darn impressive, though. That for lack of a better phrase, divide it by 4, and he's close enough to 100 to call it 100, right? That's pretty impressive. Now, throw that in. There's been some easy drops these kids have made. They made some great plays, don't get me wrong, but they've dropped some balls. How much higher and better would their averages be? This is going to stress the Middle Tennessee defense. I honestly believe that. I don't think they've played anybody with this kind of athletic ability. And I'm going to say it. I always talk about the drops, but these kind of hands and then the play, the yards after catch. I need to look that up to see if I can't find it, but I don't see anything where it says yards after catch anywhere on here, right? So I'm just looking at it. But anyway, Clark 15, Cephas 14, and Franklin 12 yards per catch. That's yards after catch too. That's because we love those little 6-yard routes and then convert them to 15-yard gainers, right? We love those. So that's pretty good. These aren't just deep throws, deep outs, deep ends that they're catching to raise their average. They're earning those yards after catch for sure to get their average up. So now I am talking a little faster than I normally do because I did really think this out. I did really research it. So now I've talked about the two things. So now the third thing is our kicking game. So from what I can tell, let's talk about Sackett. He's 5 of 7. We already know that really wonky miss that he had, that the ball just took a right turn on him up at Army, but he's only missed one other than that. So his longest is 43 yards, and his only misses are 40 plus. So inside of 40 is money. And I would bet that inside of 45, he might actually be money, right? And in college, that's what you want. You don't need a kicker to go 53, 55 yards in college. It's great to have, don't get me wrong, but if you got a kicker that is money inside of 40, it changes the way you approach the game. It makes it easier to say, hey, we're at the 25-yard line. It's 3rd and 8. Let's just run and put it in the middle and let him kick a winner. Let him put 3 points up, right? Or to say, hey, you know what? We're at the 25. We don't have to get more yardage because he's so active. We can take a shot for the end zone, right? As long as we don't turn it over. But the guy we need to talk about, and I didn't grade our kickers when I did our grade, and that's what I really want to talk about here. Because so far, you kind of see where the grade's coming, right? with that, if I just take Sackett and his performance, I'm going to have to give him an A. He scored 32 points already. He's made every extra point. So I think he gets an A, right? But that's half the grade. That's half the grade. You can tell me to get a B, B plus. I wouldn't argue with you because he's not perfect, right? Let's talk about Lucas Dean. So Lucas Dean has kicked for an average of 47.3 yards. He's had a 76-yard punt. He's had a 67-yard punt. They were both in the same game. Last game, he punted the ball for 242 yards on 4 punts. Now, that was gross punting, wasn't net punting. But his net average is 43.2. That includes all the touchbacks. So even with that long punt that went in the end zone, which is what his longest was 76, because that's gross. That was still a 56-yard punt because it comes back out to the 20. It's ridiculous. He has been insane this year. And I don't want to say he's flipped the field because he's punted from deep in our end zone, but he's definitely made sure with his punts deep in our territory that he's definitely made sure 100% that he didn't give up the field position game, that he at least put them on their 35, put them on their 30, right? Maybe all the way up to the 40, but he's also flipped the field. So I'm not saying he hasn't. So how do you judge him? It's an A plus. How many kickers do you want? I'm going to quote Nick Saban when he had a kicker called J.K. Scott. And he said, a kicker like that, you see how he flips the field? He's a weapon for us. And basically, what he was saying was, as long as you didn't take him too deep in the end zone, they knew he could kick it far enough and high enough that if they wanted to make a long 13-yard, 14-yard attempt to get a first down from their 10, that if they didn't get it, okay, he's still going to put the other team on their 35 and let his defense play defense, right? And that's what Lucas is doing for us. It is really incredible to see the growth because last year he was 42. The previous year is like 41. So you kind of see he's getting a little bit better. He's getting a little bit better. He's always had the potential, but now he's being not a lot more consistent. He's getting more consistent. He's adding that consistency. So through 4 games, with us leaving the conference, the out-of-conference schedule 2-2, I'm going with, I think this team's playing A- ball when you throw in the kickers. I forgot to throw in the kickers. I did. And now don't get me wrong. You could easily argue with me, and I wouldn't say you're wrong if you said, it's a B, we're 2-2, or it's B plus, we're 2-2. I would say it's A-, and here's why. We beat a very good, last year, a very good Army team. We'll see how Army turns out this year. We beat Texas Southern. So you could say we beat who we were supposed to beat, and we were in the game, lost in triple overtime to Houston. They were ranked, right? And then you remove some of those injuries, the Texas game changes for at least another quarter. It doesn't capitulate to their side midway through the 3rd quarter. It's probably the 4th quarter before they take over, if they even take over. So I got to give credit. A-. So hopefully I can get this video produced. It's going to be a little shorter one. And I can go get me some fried chicken. I can go get me some drinks. And I can settle up on my couch. I was going to go with the Alumni Association to watch the game, but nah, I decided watching, my big TV. I can buy drinks. Like I said, I want me some fried chicken. I don't have to worry about driving home. Don't have to worry about driving there. I'd love to see everybody. So I'll probably go to the next watch party. But this one I kind of just, after the drive last night, getting home from work, from Frisco, and then getting back to Houston, it's kind of being a Friday night. So I'll go see a Saturday game, our next Saturday game. That's what I'll do. Because it'll give me a time. I really don't like leaving the house. Little secret, my Saturdays, I've always kind of reserved for hitting Tex-Mex. Tex-Mex is good stuff. And then get me some margaritas, chips, and queso. And that's kind of what I want. And it's Friday, so that's what I do. Saturday, it's full football. So yeah, I'll hit the next one Friday. But those of y'all that are watching it at the Alumni Association, have a blast. I'll see you guys in the Dome in 2 weeks. And then after that, well, I think we have a bye finally. No, I don't know. I don't know. I just know tonight's a big game. And then I know in 2 weeks is a big game. Every game's a big game. Take that mindset. Every game's a big game. Bring your voices to every game you come to. We can't show up like we did for Texas Southern. We got to go out there and realize how important all these games are. Hey, Roadrunners, stay safe tonight if you go out, and then have a blast. Represent the Navy, the orange, and the white in a first-class manner. And I say that, but it's okay to be kind of obnoxious once in a while. Peace out.